I remember the first time I was ever on a stage in kindergarten, turning around and did the whole piece that I was supposed to do with my back to the audience.
Kris Kristofferson, the legendary singer-songwriter and actor, has passed away. Kris lived a remarkable life, with his voice and words captivating the hearts of millions around the world. From his early days as a janitor at Columbia Records to becoming one of Hollywood's most influential figures.
Who are you people?
My name's Abraham Whistler. Matt Blade.
Kris's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. His life was filled with passion, struggles, and triumph as he carved out his own path. But behind his success and his fame, Kris faced personal battles few ever noticed. Before his death, Kris made a heartbreaking confession that no one saw coming. It is a revelation that sheds light on the pain he had endured for years. Join us as we delve into the details of his emotional confession. But first, let us explore his early days, his rise to fame, and the circumstances that led to his death. Kris Kristofferson's early life. Kristoffer Kristofferson was born on June 22, 1936, in Brownsville, Texas. His early life was a mix of privilege and hardship which shaped his future. He was the oldest of 3 children born to Mary Ann and Lars Kristofferson. His father, a United States Air Force officer, rose to the rank of general. Due to his father's military career, the family moved often, taking them from Texas to California and beyond. Despite the frequent relocations, the Kristofferson children were raised with a strong sense of discipline and responsibility. These values came from their father's military background. They eventually settled in San Mateo, California, during Kris's youth. After finishing high school in 1954, Kris pursued writing and attended Pomona College. Some of his early works, like The Rock and Gone Are the Days, were published in the Atlantic Monthly. These stories highlighted his early interests, with one featuring a rock formation shaped like a woman, and the other covering a racial issue. Kris excelled both academically and athletically. He had a natural gift for writing and won awards for his short stories and poetry. While at Pomona College, he also made a name for himself in sports, excelling in football and boxing. At 17, he took on a difficult summer job on Wake Island in the Pacific with a dredging company, which he described as his toughest work experience. Despite his achievements, his early life wasn't without its difficulties. His parents, though proud of his achievements, grew worried about his increasing passion for the arts. They were concerned that he wanted to forge his own path instead of following his father's military career. This tension peaked when Kristofferson received a prestigious Rhodes Scholarship to study literature at Oxford University. Choosing to accept the Rhodes Scholarship and pursue literature was a bold move. It strained his relationship with his parents, especially his father. His father saw this decision as a rejection of the family's military legacy and took it as a personal betrayal. The strain between father and son deepened over time as Kristofferson's artistic dreams clashed with his family's traditional values. Despite the tension at home, Kristofferson flourished at Oxford. He immersed himself in literature and sharpened his writing abilities. During this time, he began experimenting with songwriting.
It's a very vulnerable position you're in when you're a songwriter.
Inspired by poets like William Blake, his early songs reflected his poetic depth, though they weren't commercially successful yet. After completing his studies, Kristofferson faced another major decision. He was torn between following his artistic dreams or meeting his family's expectations. In the end, he chose to enlist in the United States Army, following in his father's footsteps. He became a helicopter pilot and a ranger. Though this decision seemed at odds with his artistic goals, it became a life-changing experience that shaped his future. During his military service, Kristofferson continued improving his songwriting skills. He formed a band with fellow soldiers and performed at various events. This period deepened his understanding of how music connects people and delivers meaningful messages. This realization marked a pivotal moment in his artistic growth, laying the groundwork for his future as a singer-songwriter. Despite his passion for music, Kristofferson's military career advanced. He was even offered a prestigious role as an English instructor at West Point. However, in a move that strained his family's patience once more, Kristofferson resigned his commission. He set off for Nashville in 1965 to chase his musical dreams in the country music scene. Though this was a tough choice, it became the catalyst for his rise to fame.
No, I don't know where she recorded.
In country music,
So how did Kris Kristofferson move from his humble beginnings to a well-known music legend? And what heartbreaking confession did he make before he died? Keep watching to find out. Kris Kristofferson's musical career. After moving to Nashville, Kris Kristofferson set out to pursue his music dreams. However, the music industry was not glamorous at the beginning. He faced financial struggles, mainly due to medical bills for his son's defective esophagus. These challenges eventually led to the end of his marriage. In Nashville, Kristofferson took on odd jobs to make a living while chasing his music career. His determination was strong, and he aimed to establish himself as a songwriter and artist. To support himself, he worked as a janitor, sweeping floors at Columbia Recording Studios, a well-known studio in Nashville. At Columbia, he had a pivotal encounter with June Carter, a respected figure in the music scene. He gave her a tape of his songs, hoping she would help him get his music to Johnny Cash. Although June did deliver the tape, it ended up in a large pile of other submissions and received little attention.
But it was a janitor. I emptied the ashtrays and supplied the tapes and stuff for the...
While pursuing music, Kristofferson also worked as a commercial helicopter pilot for Petroleum Helicopters International, based in Lafayette, Louisiana. He spent a week flying helicopters on oil platforms in South Louisiana, then returned to Nashville to pitch his songs and write music. Kristofferson recounted how some of his most famous songs, like Help Me Make It Through the Night and Me and Bobby McGee, were inspired by his time on the oil platforms. His big break came weeks after giving his tapes to June Carter. He made a bold move by landing a helicopter in Johnny Cash's front yard, which captured Cash's full attention. There's a legendary story about Kristofferson arriving with a beer in one hand and songs in the other. However, Kristofferson later clarified that this account was not true. He admitted that it was a rather bold act, but it successfully gained Johnny Cash's recognition. After hearing Kris Kristofferson's song, Sunday Morning Coming Down, Johnny Cash was impressed and chose to record it. The song became a hit, and in 1970, Kristofferson won the Songwriter of the Year award at the Country Music Association Awards for this work. This marked a turning point in his career as his journey in the music industry began to gain momentum. In 1966, Dave Dudley released the Kristofferson single, Vietnam Blues. Over the next few years, more of Kristofferson's original songs climbed the charts through performances by various artists, including Ray Stevens, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Farron Young. In 1971, the late Janis Joplin, who had previously dated Kristofferson, released a #1 hit with his song Me and Bobby McGee from her posthumous album Pearl. This song dominated the charts for an extended period, further enhancing Kristofferson's reputation as a songwriter. Kristofferson also ventured into the recording industry by signing with Monument Records.
Me and Bobby McGee was first recorded by Roger Miller.
His debut album, Kristofferson, released in 1970, featured a mix of new songs and previously written hits. While the initial sales were disappointing, the album was a success the following year when it was re-released under the title Me and Bobby McGee. This was a significant step in Kristofferson's career as a recording artist. His compositions remained popular, with artists like Ray Price and Joe Simon recording his songs. In 1972, he released his third album, Border Lord, which included all new material. But how far did Kristofferson's creativity take him? Let's find out. Kris Kristofferson's transition into acting, branching into film.
First, an old friend from Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Kris Kristofferson.
Kristofferson's creative compass pointed west, leading him to the silver screen for an extraordinary acting journey. He shifted his focus to acting, taking on diverse roles in various films. He appeared alongside Gene Hackman in Cisco Pike and worked with acclaimed directors like Paul Mazursky in Bloom in Love and Sam Peckinpah in Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, and Convoy. He also starred in Semi-Tough with Burt Reynolds and collaborated with Martin Scorsese on Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Additionally, Kristofferson starred in Vigilante Force, The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, and the romantic drama A Star is Born with Barbra Streisand, earning a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor. At the peak of his cinematic success, Kristofferson made bold choices, turning down roles in William Friedkin's Sorcerer and the romantic war film Hanover Street. Despite his triumph with Streisand, Kristofferson's solo music career faced setbacks. His ninth album, Shake Hands with the Devil, failed to chart. His next project, the two-part television movie Freedom Road in 1979, also did not succeed. However, Kristofferson bounced back with a lead role as the enigmatic Sheriff James in Michael Cimino's ambitious and controversial Heaven's Gate in 1980. While the film was initially a commercial disaster, it later gained critical acclaim. Kristofferson continued his acting career with notable roles in Rollover in 1981.
You go to the control of the currency, the Federal Reserve Board, Secretary of the Treasury.
Alongside Jane Fonda, The Last Days of Frank and Jesse James in 1986 with Johnny Cash, and the neo-noir thriller Trouble in Mind in 1985 with Keith Carradine and Laurie Singer. He also appeared in the television series America in 1987, as well as in the films Millennium in 1989 and Fire Down Below in 1997 with Steven Seagal in 1996. Kristofferson delivered a remarkable performance as the corrupt Sheriff Charlie Wade in John Sayles' acclaimed film Lone Star, which earned an Oscar nomination for Best Screenplay. In 1998, he teamed up with Wesley Snipes in the action-packed Blade, portraying the wise mentor Abraham Whistler. He danced his way into audiences' hearts alongside Vanessa Williams and Cheyenne in Dance With Me. In 1999, Kristofferson joined Mel Gibson in the gritty thriller Payback. In 2001, he ventured into science fiction with Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. He reprised his role as Abraham Whistler in Blade 2 in 2002.
Who are you people?
My name's Abraham Whistler. You met Blade.
And again in Blade Trinity in 2004. In 2006, he starred alongside Genevieve Bujold in Disappearances. In 2011, he appeared in Dolphin Tale, and in 2012, he starred with his friend Dolly Parton in Joyful Noise. The following year, he showcased his versatility as an actor in The Motel Life and Angel Sing with Willie Nelson and Lyle Lovett. As Kristofferson navigated the highs and lows of fame, his love life was marked by strong connections and heartbreaking goodbyes. Kris Kristofferson's complicated love life. Kris Kristofferson's personal life has been filled with surprises, marked by both triumphs and struggles. His first marriage to Frances Mavia Beer in 1960 laid the foundation for his family life. Together, they had 2 children, Tracy and Chris Jr., before divorcing in 1969. This initial marriage represented a formative period of youth and growth.
And I loved it. It was something I could lose myself in. And
throughout the 1970s, Kristofferson enjoyed high-profile relationships with several fellow musicians. His connection with Janis Joplin was well known, and he also had a romantic involvement with folk icon Joan Baez, who later revealed their liaison to the Chicago Tribune. Carly Simon described her time with Kristofferson as a slam-dunk deranged month in her memoir. In 1973, Kristofferson married Rita Coolidge, a fellow vocalist with whom he co-produced the successful album Full Moon. Their relationship was a blend of musical collaboration and emotional connection, resulting in multiple albums and hit songs. However, despite their professional success, their marriage faced challenges, leading to a divorce in 1980. In 1983, Kristofferson married Lisa Myers, and together they had 5 children: Kelly, Jody, Jesse, Blake, and Johnny. He often expressed that the best thing about his life was his kids and his wife. This marriage has provided him with stability, love, and support throughout his career's ups and downs, helping him navigate various challenges and solidifying his sense of home. Kris Kristofferson's battle with addiction, rediscovering his music and using his voice for a cause. As Kristofferson's fame expanded, he began acting in several high-profile films. However, this era was also marked by personal struggles, particularly with alcohol addiction. In an April 1978 interview with the British Broadcasting Corporation,
in fact, every song that I ever wrote, I gave to John. I first met him backstage at the Opry.
Kristofferson reflected on his role in A Star is Born, noting its resemblance to his own difficulties. "I'm not the only self-destructive person who's ever taken the stage, but I was representing many of them at that time." When asked about his drinking problem, he confessed, "My particular problem was far worse than I realized. I had been drinking heavily for 20 years, up to 1.5 bottles of whiskey, 2 bottles of whiskey, and a case of beer daily." His path to sobriety became a pivotal moment in both his personal and professional life. In that same interview, he recounted his transformation. "I was unaware of a problem before I made the decision. Once I did, it felt almost like a revelation. I knew immediately it was the right choice. At 40, it was as if I removed a handicap. If I were a racehorse, I would suddenly shed a lot of weight and could run freely." This newfound clarity allowed Kristofferson to concentrate on his music and family, leading to a revival in both his career and personal happiness. In his later years, Kristofferson became increasingly outspoken about social and political issues, using his music as a vehicle for change. In a 1984 interview, he shared his belief in music's potential to affect change. "Can music change things? I think it can. I hope it can. I would like to think that what Springsteen, Dylan, Jackson Browne, and I are doing can raise awareness of issues that people might not currently recognize, such as those in Central America and South Africa." Kristofferson's influence on country music and songwriting is undeniable.
And enjoyed each other's company.
Yeah.
And when we worked on a film, we fought a lot.
His knack for crafting deeply personal and poetic lyrics that resonate with a broad audience distinguished him from his peers. During a 2010 sit-down on The Ralph Emery Show, he reminisced about his songwriting process and the creation of one of his most famous songs, "Me and Bobby McGee." "Fred was the guy who gave me the title, that's why he's credited with half the song. He had a secretary named Bobby McKee at Foster's Studios, and Fred said, 'I've got a great song title for you. It's Me and Bobby McKee.'" From one struggle to another, how did the struggles Kristofferson faced next affect his life? And what heartbreaking confession did he make before his death? Keep watching to find out. Kris Kristofferson's health struggles and misdiagnosis. In the latter stages of his life, Kristofferson's health struggles became particularly pronounced, characterized by a series of misdiagnoses and a lengthy quest to uncover the underlying cause of his debilitating symptoms. In the late 2000s, Kristofferson began to experience memory lapses and cognitive difficulties. Concerned about these symptoms, his medical team initially diagnosed him with Alzheimer's disease in 2013. This devastating news hit Kristofferson and his family hard, as Alzheimer's is a progressive and incurable neurological disorder that gradually robs individuals of their memories and cognitive abilities. For several years, Kristofferson underwent treatment for what was believed to be Alzheimer's, taking various medications and engaging in multiple therapies to manage his symptoms. However, his condition showed little improvement, leading his wife, Lisa Myers, to suspect that something more serious might be causing his health issues. In 2016, after years of grappling with Kristofferson's mysterious ailments, Myers sought a second opinion from a different doctor. This new physician conducted a thorough examination of Kristofferson's symptoms and ordered a series of tests, including one for Lyme disease. To the surprise of Kristofferson and his family, the test results came back positive, revealing that the singer had been suffering from Lyme disease all along, rather than Alzheimer's as previously diagnosed. Myers later noted that they suspected Kristofferson had been infected with Lyme disease anywhere from 14 to 30 years earlier, likely during the filming of a movie called Disappearances in the Vermont woods in 2006. 12 years ago, he was also diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which, in hindsight, should have prompted further testing for Lyme disease.
Lyme disease, also called borreliosis, is an infection caused by a tiny bacterium.
Myers told the Lyme Times that they suspected Kristofferson had been infected with Lyme disease due to his history of chronic muscle spasms, a common symptom. Following the diagnosis, he underwent various treatments, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy and transcranial magnetic stimulation on the frontal part of his brain. He also received antibiotic shots in his muscles, took doxycycline, and was given a line of treatment for Lyme disease. Kristofferson's friend and fellow songwriter Chris Gantry reflected on his remarkable transformation, telling Closer Weekly, "It's like Lazarus coming out of the grave and being born again." Over the last 6 or 7 years, it became clear that once doctors ruled out Alzheimer's, everything changed. The debilitating memory loss and cognitive difficulties that had plagued Kristofferson for nearly a decade began to fade, allowing him to regain much of his former clarity and vitality. Another close friend remarked to Closer in 2016 that Chris is as sharp as he's been in the past 20 years, thanks to his treatments. Myers and Kristofferson's 8 children now see a different man. "It really is a modern-day medical miracle," she stated. "He was taking all these medications for things he didn't have, and they all had side effects. When the doctors finally realized he had Lyme disease and prescribed the appropriate medication, all of a sudden, he was back." She noted that some days he appears perfectly normal, making it easy to forget he is battling any health issues. As the clouds of uncertainty lifted, Kristofferson's health struggles gave way to a newfound sense of peace and reflection, paving the way for a poignant final chapter in the life of a legend. Kris Kristofferson's retirement, a closed curtain. In January 2021, at the age of 84, Kris Kristofferson announced his retirement from performing and acting.
Now to remembering Kris Kristofferson, the legendary singer, songwriter, and actor.
A close friend revealed that Kristofferson felt he was no longer up to touring and wanted to simplify things for his family by converting his assets to cash before his passing. The physical demands of touring had become too much for the then 84-year-old. As he approached his 87th birthday, Kristofferson began to candidly share the realities of his final days in rare footage. After decades in the spotlight, he was willing to offer an intimate look at the challenges and reflections that come with aging. With his health concerns and the realities of growing older weighing heavily on him, Kristofferson has taken steps to ensure his affairs are in order and that his family will be taken care of in the years to come. "I'm trying to get my ducks in a row, so to speak," he explained. "I've been converting a lot of my assets, like the ranch in California, into cash so that my family is provided for. I want to make things as easy as possible for them when I'm gone." Throughout his career, Kristofferson had been a towering figure in the world of country music, with his influence resonating in the work of countless artists who followed in his footsteps. From his poetic and socially conscious lyrics to his unwavering artistic vision, he consistently pushed the boundaries of the genre and challenged listeners to think deeply about the human experience. Kris Kristofferson was regarded as one of the most significant songwriters of the 20th and 21st centuries, with his songs woven into the fabric of American culture, influencing artists ranging from Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard to Garth Brooks. As he reflected on his legacy, Kristofferson expressed profound gratitude for the opportunity to create music that had touched so many lives. Ultimately, Kris Kristofferson's story is one of resilience, determination, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. As he approached his final days, he left behind a remarkable body of work that will continue to inspire and move listeners for generations to come. His journey served as a testament to the power of art to transcend time and space, touching the very essence of what it means to be human. Given Kristofferson's illustrious career in music and acting spanning several decades, one can assume he had amassed considerable wealth. While his exact net worth remains undisclosed, estimates suggest it is around $50 million, providing a glimpse into his financial success. So, what final truth did Kristofferson share in his last moments? Stay tuned to find out. The heartbreaking confession Kris Kristofferson made before his death. Kris Kristofferson, the prolific songwriter, actor, and country music legend,
Kris Kristofferson thought of himself first and foremost as a writer.
Passed away peacefully at his home in Maui on September 28, 2024, at the age of 88. Reflecting on his journey to find a peaceful family life in Hawaii, the Blade actor expressed both surprise and gratitude at how his life unfolded. "I never could have imagined this," he said. "I sit right here and think how it could have turned out so differently. I never thought I'd live past 30. I could have ended up dead." A representative for Kristofferson confirmed that he was surrounded by family at the time of his passing. "It is with a heavy heart that we share the news of our husband, father, and grandfather, Kris Kristofferson, passing away peacefully on Saturday, September 28th at home. We're all so blessed for our time with him. Thank you for loving him all these many years. And when you see a rainbow, know he's smiling down at us all," the family of Kris Kristofferson shared in their statement, confirming his passing. How will his remarkable journey continue to inspire future generations? Honoring Kris Kristofferson's legacy. As we grieve the loss of this musical titan, we are reminded of the profound impact of his words and music. Kristofferson's legacy goes well beyond his chart-topping songs and celebrated film career. He was a voice for the marginalized, a defender of artistic integrity, and a living example of resilience and redemption. In his later years, Kristofferson faced health challenges with the same bravery and grace that defined his entire life. Even after being diagnosed with Lyme disease and experiencing memory issues, he continued creating and performing music well into his 80s. His determination and passion for his craft left a lasting impact, inspiring countless musicians and fans. Kristofferson's death signifies the close of an era in country music.
Kris Kristofferson's past incarnations included prizefighter, Rhodes Scholar.
As one of the final surviving members of the outlaw country movement from the 1970s, he, along with legends like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, and Waylon Jennings, transformed the genre by adding deeper poetic expression and social awareness. As we say goodbye to Kris Kristofferson, we honor a life lived with authenticity and purpose. His path from working as a janitor at Columbia Records to becoming a country music icon and celebrated actor is a testament to aspiring artists everywhere. It shows that with talent, persistence, and the courage to face life's challenges, anyone can make a lasting impact on the world. In the end, Kristofferson's words from his song, "To Beat the Devil," perfectly capture his outlook on life and art. He nurtured the hunger in his soul, touching the hearts of millions. His music, lyrics, and unwavering spirit will continue to resonate and inspire for generations to come. As we reflect on his legacy, we are reminded that true freedom doesn't come from having nothing left to lose, but from having the bravery to follow your passion and speak your truth, no matter the cost. Kris Kristofferson embodied that freedom, enriching the world with his presence. Thank you for watching this video. Please share your thoughts on Kristofferson's confessions. Do well to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next one.